Hi, it's Barbara and welcome back to Wiki Design. We are back in our studio. It's been a little bit since I've filmed in here, and that's because we had spent the entire month of June on the road traveling the US. If you are a subscriber, you already know that because we had filmed a bunch of videos from the road, but if you're new here and you have no idea what I'm talking about, make sure you check out our Driving with Wiki series that just wrapped up, and subscribe to the channel if you're into things like web design, building your brand, and getting a great online presence. That's what we're all about here. One of the stops on our US road trip was Lexington, Kentucky. If you've ever been to Kentucky, you know that they really like bourbon in Kentucky, and they have this thing called the Bourbon Trail. So while we were there, we wanted to hit up a few of the distilleries on the trail. Now, in doing research, we went to all of these different distilleries' websites, and they all had age verification on them. By law, companies that sell certain products, such as alcohol, have to have an age verification process on their website. This is nothing new. This requirement has been in place for a really long time, and if you've gone to any website that sells age-restricted products, you've likely seen this and had to put in your birthday. Now, if we're being honest, this whole process doesn't really do anything to restrict people that maybe shouldn't be seeing the content from accessing the website. It's pretty easy to either just click, yes, I'm over 21, or to put in a fake birthday so you can access the content. But regardless, this is a requirement for these companies. And I got to wondering, how do they do that? What is the best way to achieve an age verification on a WordPress website? This is something that I actually never had to do before, so I thought it would be cool to learn because I can definitely see myself having to do this for a client in the future. So I did some research, and today I'm going to show you an easy way you can add an age verification to your website. Like most things with WordPress and web design in general, there are a few different ways that you can achieve this age verification. You can add a script to your website, or you can download and install one of the many age verification WordPress plugins. And that's the route that I decided to go just because I thought it would be a bit easier for people that didn't know how to code to install a plugin versus learning how to add scripts to their site. After doing research on several different plugins, I decided to go with the AgeGate plugin. This is a free plugin for WordPress, and I will put the link in the description down below if you want to check it out. I really liked this plugin because it was free, but I thought that they gave you a lot of good options for the age verification process, and the interface was pretty easy to use. Now, this isn't sponsored in any way. I did my own research and came to that conclusion myself, but I want to show you how this plugin works in more detail, so let's get into it. This is what my age verification looks like. I created this using the plugin. Just wanted to show you the end result, and then I'm going to get into how I achieved this look. So in the WordPress dashboard, we'll go to our AgeGate settings. I already installed the plugin. You do it just by searching for AgeGate in the plugin repository. It will come up. You can install it for free, and then you'll be taken to these settings. The first tab up here is the restriction settings. The first thing is default age, and by default, they have it at 21. If you need to adjust that, you would just put in whatever age you want. You also have the ability to restrict all of the content or selected content, which I thought was really cool because not a lot of the plugins that I researched allowed for this. So I really liked that feature. I selected all content, so everything would be under the age restriction, but if you just needed to protect a certain page, you could set that up by clicking here. They also have an ability to add a custom age on a per page level. So that's another option that you can check if you just want to restrict content to certain ages on specific pages. Thought that was a really nice option for a free plugin. Going down the page a bit, we have the validate age using input fields, drop-down boxes, or yes and no. So let's go back to my front end. So I have input fields selected, which means that people will have to put in their birthday in here. So the month, the day, and the year, and then they can hit submit and it will verify that. If we go back and we change this to drop-down boxes, it will change the way that this looks. Let me just hit save changes. If we refresh the page, you can see that these are now drop-downs. Let's go back and change it to the yes or no tabs and hit save changes again. Refresh the page. And now we have it where it says, are you over 21 years of age, yes or no? So we have a couple different options for how we can add this to our website. I thought that the best way was to do the input boxes where people put in their birthday, but you can decide what's best for your site. When you select input fields, you get a variety of different options. You can do stepped inputs, which will have it go in steps, so people will put in their year first, then the date, and then the month. And then you can inherit restrictions as well. So these are just options that you can check on and off depending on what you want to do. You also have the option to have a remember me checkbox on the front end. If we go back to my page, you can see that I did have this turned on. So if people don't want to fill out their birthday every time, they can check this box, and then when they come back to the website, they won't have to do that. With the Remember Me checkbox, you can set the length for how long the website remembers you. By default, it is 1 year. And then you can also have it where it has auto check on, so it will just automatically check that Remember Me box. Down here, there is an option to change the date format. So in the US, we generally do the birthday as month, day, and then year, but in other countries, they reverse it. So you can do day, month, and year if you are one of the countries that does it that way. You also have the option to ignore logged in users. So if you're editing the site, you won't have to keep putting in your birthday. And then you can have a re-challenge option. If somebody fails the age test, they can try again. You can select that on and off as well. Now down here, we have a redirect option. So what's cool about this is if somebody is not old enough to view the site, they put in a birthday that is under the age of 21, it will redirect to whatever page that you want it to redirect to. So I just put in our website as a test, but you can put in whatever you want. Once you're done with all of these settings, you would want to hit save changes, and that will publish those changes live. But let's go to the next tab, which is called messaging. So under messaging, we basically have all of the messaging for the front end. So our headline, our subheadline, remember me text, and all of these different labels down here can all be changed. So I just put in for the headline, you must be 21 years old to view the website, and then the subheadline, please enter your birthday below. If we go to the front end, you can see how that shows up here. And that's basically it for the messaging portion. You just can customize these different fields in here. There's a bunch of different ones that you can customize, but it's pretty straightforward. I would say that this is something that, for the most part, you're probably not going to need to change a ton. Now let's go to the next tab called Appearance. Under Appearance, the first option that you have is to upload a logo. You can upload your actual logo, or you can do what I did and just upload an image. So however you want to customize it, feel free. You can see on the front end, I just have this image of a bottle with a glass that has some whiskey or bourbon in it, but you can put in whatever you want there. You also have the ability to change the background color opacity. You can blur elements in here. You can even upload a background image if you don't want to use a color. So there's a few different things as far as styling is concerned that you can do here. Just scrolling down a little bit more, we have some foreground color that you can change, the text color, the layout options can be changed. So there's quite a bit of customization that's built in with this plugin. You can't do everything. It's not like an Elementor or another page builder where you can really get granular and customize a ton of stuff, but they do give you quite a bit of options for a free plugin. So I was pretty happy with how this all worked. So feel free to play around with this and customize it to fit the look and feel of your website. The next tab is the Advanced tab, and this gives you more advanced programming settings. So we have caching available, Ajax endpoints, a bunch of stuff that if you really don't know what you're doing, you probably don't want to mess with too much. If you're not a developer, I wouldn't recommend touching any of these. I would just leave it to the default settings because it will work just fine that way. But down here, we do have options for custom styling, which I actually put in some custom CSS just to make things look a little different. So if you know CSS, this is where you would add those custom settings to style the page a little bit more than what they give you under the Appearance tab. So I really liked that they included this under the Advanced tab because you can really do a lot if you know CSS. The last tab is Access Settings, which just gives different people on your WordPress account access to this plugin. So by default, it has these settings for the administrator to basically do everything, and you can check these on and off depending on what level of access you want to give people. This is really if you have multiple people working on the site and editing it. That's kind of where this will come into play. I do like that they have this built into the plugin because not every plugin does this, and I think it's kind of important to have settings for certain people, especially if you have multiple people logging into your site and able to access different things. You want to make sure that you're not stepping on each other's toes or you're not giving access to somebody that shouldn't have it. So I really like that they included this in the plugin. Overall, I think this is a really great free plugin. It did exactly what I needed it to do, and it gave me a lot of options for customization. So if you're looking for age verification, I highly recommend installing this on your WordPress site. That's it for today's video. I hope that you found it helpful. I know that I definitely learned something that I will probably use sometime in the future on a client website. So I always love to learn new things, and I hope that you did too. If you like videos like this, be sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever we upload new videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!